tell me again, how long have you been doing this?
It's a little bit over 10 years that I've been doing this.
10 years. Okay, let's go.
Every year, appraisers like Lee can too hit the road to check out homes across Bexar County.
Drive around and kind of look at the properties, the characteristics of each of the properties.
We rode along through this neighborhood of new construction in Converse.
We will follow you.
We got some fencing back there. This one kind of mimics the house that we were just at.
Appraisals are based off of the characteristics of a home as of January 1st. In this new neighborhood, appraisals
KSAT 12. The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
At new at 6, the Texas House has given preliminary approval to a new controversial map, a congressional map that would add 5 new Republican seats to Congress.
That vote along party lines came after hours of criticism and debate from Democratic lawmakers. The vote delayed by a 2-week walkout by state Democrats, breaking quorum, preventing action in the first special legislative session. Republicans rejected all 12 amendments the Democrats proposed, who now say they plan to challenge the new maps in court.
Go Spurs, go! Spurs Jesus, you had a question?
Mayor Gina Ortiz Jones crashing a press conference today on the eve of 2 pivotal votes in the city's plans to help fund a new Spurs arena. Pause or push ahead. That will be the choice that City Council will face. City staff and Spurs officials hammering out a deal for $1.3 billion in an NBA arena at Hemisphere. It is part of the wider Project Marvel.
And tomorrow morning, the council will vote whether to pass a set of terms which are non-binding, meaning it's not a legal contract, but the terms. The mayor, though, wants to hold off until after a new economic impact study is done and multiple community meetings can be held. Now, today, business leaders rallied in support of passing the terms, but here's what the group didn't see coming. The mayor came out of City Hall, parted the crowd, and took over the mic to push for a pause on the project. Then there were some tense moments. We showed you a glimpse of that between Mayor Jones and Spurs superfan of social media fame, Spurs Jesus, as he's called. He asked the mayor what happens if the Spurs left San Antonio.
The Spurs have never said that. The Spurs have never said, hey, City Council, if you don't vote on a term sheet on Thursday, we're leaving. They've never said that. Hold on, we've never said that. We've never said that. But that's not the question.
It's my question. By the way, I didn't have a debate between the mayor and Spurs Jesus on my bingo card for today. So what are the possible terms in this entire deal? Capping the city and county shares of funding at $489 million and $311 million, with the Spurs covering at least $500 million, plus any overages.
The team would also pay rent on the arena and guarantee nearby development, which would help fund the city's share through taxes and lease payments.
So a lot of debate going on. Supporters say it's a good deal that won't draw from the regular city or county budgets. Opponents think it has been rushed through without real input or enough information.
City Hall reporter Garrett Berger lays out the pre-vote landscape.
Go Spurs, go!
This is what the people of San Antonio deserve.
That's right.
Both sides have their cheering sections, and they're both looking for a win Thursday.
I think the votes are there to support this and move forward.
Business groups are chief among those who want City Council to pull the trigger on terms for a new Spurs arena.
The opportunity cost is this. The more we delay, the more expensive the project becomes.
For those terms to actually matter, voters will also have to approve Bexar County's share of the funding in November.
Unless the citizens say yes in November to the county portion, this arena is not moving forward.
Mayor Gina Ortiz Jones wants the city to pump the brakes. She says residents should have an opportunity to give feedback before council considers terms and after an independent economic impact study.
I want a deal. That's why I'm working so hard for it. If we do the things that I want, that I'm asking for, more data for the people and more public engagement, people will vote for this in November.
The mayor's dodged questions on whether she has the vote she needs to pull off a pause. But she was in the clear minority when she first pushed for it 2 weeks ago.
You've also made You've been doing a lot of public comments like this.
Yeah.
Are you trying to turn up the pressure because you haven't been able to convince council members?
This is about the people. This is a conversation. There is no reason to vote on Thursday. Why vote on term sheet that you have not brought to your people for feedback?
The votes are scheduled. Pause, push ahead. It will be decided Thursday. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
And coming up at 6:30, we're going to do an in-depth look at what the next 24 hours could hold with Project Marvel. We'll be speaking with District 7 Councilwoman Marina Alderete-Gavito about why she's in favor of moving this project ahead. It comes your way at 6:30. Meanwhile, a federal judge temporarily blocking a Texas law requiring the 10 Commandments be displayed in all Texas public school classrooms.
So the law was set to go into effect on September 1st. And in his ruling, that judge wrote that the state did not attempt to limit the use of the 10 Commandments to relevant course curriculum. He also wrote that the state requirement crosses the line from exposure to coercion. The lead plaintiff on the case is a local rabbi whose child attends a local school district. She says the ruling is a win for now.
It's certainly my hope that this is the end. If it's not, then we'll stay committed to standing by this cause. I didn't get involved in this suit lightly, and I feel very passionately about it, for myself, for my child, for all the children that I know are affected by this particular law.
Sarah. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton released a statement saying that he plans on appealing this injunction. If appealed, the case will go to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals and could eventually end up at the Supreme Court. Kerrville leaders are moving ahead with their budget, looking to raise the property tax rate after the Hill Country floods. The city council agreed to start some public hearings on a proposed rate increase just over 2% higher than the rate that exists now. Now, this increase is not a done deal yet, but this change lets them go that high to help pay for flood recovery, and it could drop after public comment. Now, at first, leaders were worried about raising taxes, but the budget office said that recovery costs could hit the city's budget hard. The city manager said a higher rate would help build a fund to handle future disasters. Public hearings start September 9th with a final vote on September 23rd. An El Paso judge temporarily stopped Attorney General Ken Paxton from prosecuting Beto O'Rourke's political group. O'Rourke's group, which is called Powered by People, gave money to Texas Democrats who fled the state in protest of those proposed GOP redistricting plans. That plan would give Republicans, as we've mentioned, up to 5 more seats in the U.S. House. Texas Democrats returned to the state on Monday. Paxton has been pushing for O'Rourke to be prosecuted.
He is accused of killing a woman in her own apartment. The defense in the retrial of R.C. Curtis poking holes into the state's case today. Curtis accused in the capital murder of 75-year-old Paula Boyd. The defense believes the detective mishandled the case. Eric Hernandez breaks down the testimony and how it could be damaging to the state's case.
Retired SAPD Detective Randall Hines on the stand today more than 9 years after his investigation into Paula Boyd's murder led him to the arrest of R.C. Curtis. Now, during the state's questioning of him, it was discussed how Boyd's stolen credit cards were found being used by several other people, including Curtis, but there was no direct evidence discussed to counter Curtis previously stating Boyd had let him borrow her cards occasionally. But during cross-examination, the defense asked Hines about the other possible suspects, 3 men, David Rocha, Donald Barnett, and Frank Hernandez, who were also caught using Boyd's credit cards and the lack of investigation into them.
You never searched his apartment, did you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's one.
No.
No.
What about Frank Hernandez? Let's talk about what you found at Frank Hernandez's apartment. He was also a suspect in the murder, was he not?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about what you found at Frank's apartment.
Didn't search it.
Tell us about the stolen credit cards or pulse cards you found at RC's apartment.
Didn't find them.
Now, the defense also questioned the detective about him getting a tip about there being video of the murder, but Hines said he searched for it, but there was no such video ever found. This trial will resume tomorrow afternoon. We are live streaming it as well on all our digital platforms. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
All right, another day. We got some pop-up showers, something on the radar there, Adam.
A little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit on the radar screen. And also, we do have an outflow boundary that's headed southward right now. It's still in the hill country, and it's about to make its way into northern Bexar County, this green line, and that could be just enough to stir up new showers and thunderstorms. But you look at the past hour, east of town, Guadalupe County, Gonzales County, just some spotty, brief downpours. Even Wilson County and now Atascosa County getting in on some of this activity here. Some of this can drop a quick ½ inch of rain, and we have a history of about 1/3 to ½ inch of rain. And around Medina Lake Reservoir, the shower that you had nearby closer to the dam, that has since passed. But again, this outflow boundary, that could kickstart new showers, and it does look like it's trying to do that right here, just west of New Braunfels and south of 46. Anyway, I think have better chances tomorrow, more numerous showers and storms, and a different time frame for it. We'll get to that in a bit.
All right, thank you, Adam. We'll check out traffic right now. Taking a look outside with TransGuide and your traffic authority, you can see this is I-10 and UTSA Boulevard. Now, they are doing a lot of construction. They have roads closed down in this area, but this is because of what looks like a stalled Via bus. It's causing a bit of a traffic disruption. It looks like it's the access lanes at I-10 and UTSA Boulevard.
Our precious, hilarious, kind, caring, silly, loving little girl who always wanted to help others died because there was no plan.
The parents of campers at Camp Mystic testifying before Texas lawmakers today. So many of those parents testifying for hours about the deadly flooding event that happened last month. They shared memories of their daughters and how they wish Camp Mystic had a better safety plan.
Zaria Oates there as parents express support of a Senate bill focused on camp safety.
Chairman Perry, we had a daughter, Lenny. She was 8 years old. She is dead.
Blunt, heartbreaking, and unimaginable testimonies, all from the parents of Camp Mystic flood victims.
Obvious common sense safety measures were absent. Protocols that should have been in place were ignored. As a result, my daughter was stolen from us.
Through tears, these testimonies are on behalf of the little girls who didn't make it and in support of Senate Bill 1.
This legislation cannot bring back our daughters, but it is the beginning of change that must occur so this tragedy never happens again.
If passed, Senate Bill 1 would require camps in flood-prone areas to abide by certain regulations. This would include having an evacuation plan for additional emergencies like flash flooding. The bill would also require camps to be listed online with an active license. For a camp to renew or be granted a new license, they would be prohibited from having cabins in floodplains. Camps would also be required to have operating radios providing real-time weather alerts from a professional weather service. Leaders from other Hill Country camps also spoke in favor of SB 1.
The counselors, they did an amazing job in getting the kids awake and getting them out quickly of the cabins.
Can you talk a little bit about the waivers that have been requested for Camp Mystic in the past and how you said, or Senator said, that there will not be allowed loopholes?
Well, if you notice how and Senator Perry has written this bill, even if there is a federal waiver, it won't override our regulations that we're planning in SB 1.
While the goal is safety and prevention in the future, the parents of one Camp Mystic child are hopeful their daughter remains a priority too.
48 days later, Seal remains somewhere in the devastation of the Guadalupe River.
Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
The city of San Antonio on the edge of some big changes depending on an upcoming city council vote. We're going to speak with District 7 Councilwoman Marina Alderete Gavito and why she disagrees with the mayor when it comes to Project Marvin.
And an Edgewood ISD school board meeting interrupted after a woman was escorted away from the podium and arrested. What we've learned about this incident next. Accountability. That's what a group of Edgewood ISD parents are demanding after a mother was arrested and charged during a school board meeting. You've seen this video playing out right here on KSAT and on social media.
It's dramatic. Now we're finding out more about that woman herself, her nonprofit, and what led her to end up in handcuffs. Patty Santos reports from the Bexar County Jail where that mother was taken.
That's Maribel Gardea. She was escorted out of the Edgewood ISD school board meeting last night. Now, she is the executive director of Mind Shift Ed, a nonprofit that supports education for families in vulnerable and underserved communities. She was asked by Edgewood ISD parents to represent them in their efforts to reach out to Edgewood ISD leadership. Families have been complaining about bullying and safety at schools and was presenting a petition last night to the board. She was given 4 minutes to speak. She spoke in Spanish first, and then she started reading her English statement. That is when her time was up. And we can see from the streamed meeting that her mic was muted. But Gardea continued talking. That is when she was escorted out. Now, outside, that is when witnesses tell us police continued to harass her. Community members say this is one example of how the school board leadership is trying to intimidate parents.
They're trying to just install fear on the other parents, which is unacceptable, and they didn't read her rights, nothing. We were asking them what is she getting arrested for, and they weren't even telling us nothing.
School Superintendent Eduardo Hernandez issued a statement last night in part saying, quote, the individual's actions were not in alignment with EISD board operating procedures and code of ethics, necessitating their removal, end quote. And this morning we did try to reach out to the school police chief and the communications office for an interview with Edgewood ISD leaders. They declined an interview this morning, and we really just wanted to ask how often it is that a parent who is actually charged for going over their allowed time during a public meeting. This is something that we're going to continue to follow throughout the day. You can head to KSAT.com for more updates. I'm Patty Santos.
All right, let's take a look outside with live cam, watching a little bit of something on the radar. We got the clouds at least. That's the first step towards rain, Adam.
Hey, yesterday this was a very wet picture that we had right there. We had a nice downpour there at Crossroads. Today, not so much. I mean, a few little isolated pop-up showers here and there. Where you see the blue on the screen, that's where we had the rain, the streaks of showers moving from the northeast to the southwest. So, for example, we go eastward, just east of Seguin, along the Guadalupe here, and you'll see accumulations of about 0.4 of an inch. So, nothing to sneeze at. Decent. We'll take it. We need it. We need every drop we can get. But I do think tomorrow has much higher potential. As for Bexar County, so far northwest side, even just south of UTSA, you get to Oakland Estates, about 0.3 of an inch. And then right on the basically Government Canyon State natural area on the county line of Bexar County and Medina County, 0.6 of an inch, right? So better than nothing. Again, tomorrow has much higher potential. And one new shower just popped up near Leon Springs. This is the activity that's along this outflow boundary. You see the outflow boundary in green here, this green line. That's from thunderstorms that were off to the north of us. And the cooler air aloft is dense and heavy. It comes tumbling down out of the storm and then pushes out when it hits the ground. And this is that push we're getting, and sometimes these are enough to kickstart new showers and storms. And so for the next few hours through sunset, we could have more development, but brief splash and dash, and it wouldn't cause really any issues out there. Tomorrow, we could have some localized street flooding and the off chance of some flash flooding. Notice the 60% chance late morning, midday, and into the early afternoon. We are expecting those showers and storms to be heavy tomorrow. Sometimes they'll be coming down, or the rain rates will be really high, but it's going to be progressive. We'll see this activity move along. The one thing I'm watching for tomorrow is the potential of a little more organization and then a subtle spin to the rain showers, what we call a meso-low setting up. If that's the case, then we could very well have a few bullseyes of over 3 inches of rain, which would then introduce the off chance of some localized flash flooding. Otherwise, street flooding That's the primary concern. So 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. tomorrow, 1 to 3 inches, but in the heaviest storms, possibly more than that. Localized street flooding, but also the off chance of flash flooding. That could then, cause the rising water on the low water crossings. Heat highs over the Four Corners, so the door is still open for disturbances. Decent rain chances tomorrow. Friday, not looking bad, 40%, but that's going to be in the afternoon. Tomorrow's unique. By 9 a.m., we could have some of those heavy downpours. 98 our high temperature today right now. 97, so another day under 100. We'll take that. Bernie at 88, Divine 98, Stinson at 100, along with Converse. Tomorrow, mid-90s, 94 for the high temperature, and we could even be cooler than that depending on how the morning rain plays out. Notice low to mid-90s is what we're expecting across most of our area tomorrow, and then dry Friday night all the way through the weekend and most of next week, sunny and dry. The latest on Hurricane Aaron coming up at 6:45.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Adam.
All right, he plays for the #1 team in the country, and when you have the last name of Manning, the expectations are sky high, Larry.
Yeah, and his grandfather, Archie, kind of stirred the pot recently because he said that this would not be Arch's last season at UT. So, of course, Texas fans got pretty excited about that. Coming up, Arch will talk about his future and clear that up. And our BGC preview takes us to Bracken Ridge, where the Eagles have a new head coach and a new attitude. Coming up.
Yeah, I don't know where he got that from. He texted me and apologized about that, but I'm really just taking it day by day right now.
Arch Manning says his future at Texas is unclear despite what his grandfather said in big board sports. Arch Manning is the Texas Longhorns starting quarterback for this season, but beyond that, we're really not sure. His grandpa, Archie Manning, stirred the pot recently when he told Texas Monthly Magazine that Arch will be with the Horns through the 2026 season. Archie later told ESPN that he was merely responding to various media reports about his grandson's future, not making any declarations. Now, his grandpa does have some advice for Arch when it comes to running with the ball, and it starts in week 1 with the Ohio State Buckeyes, who beat the Horns last season in the CFP semifinals 28-14.
Yeah, I think I just need to be smart. Obviously, those hits add up. My grandfather, he can, he's hobbling around these days, and he ends every call with "get down" or "get out of bounds." So I'm definitely hearing it a lot.
What do you recall about the Ohio State defense from studying them a year ago? And what do you anticipate from them? How much are you thinking about them right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're full on Ohio State now, so I'm thinking about them a lot. But they're a really good team. Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, they got some good players, so we're going to have our hands full, but it's going to be a fun one.
Ohio State running back James Peoples is ripped, and dude is ready to roll. Last season, as a true freshman, he rushed for 197 yards and 2 scores for the defending national champs. This season, the former Veterans Memorial High School star is battling for the starting role, and he's looking forward to facing one of the many programs who were interested in him out of high school.
Hey, I mean, yeah, that was a school that was heavily considering me, and I was considering them. But I wish them all the best. It's going to be a great game. I can't wait for that game. And excited. It's a great opponent, 1 versus 2.
Did you grow up watching Texas?
I grew up watching Ohio State. So, I mean, even though I was from Texas, I always was watching Ohio State because, like I said, my parents, they're from Ohio, and I grew up watching them. But Texas, it was right up the road for me where I lived in San Antonio, so I would go up there often.
Peoples is ready to prove himself as the next great Buckeyes running back. Led by first-year head coach Steve Garcia, the Breckenridge Eagles are looking to turn things around this season. The Eagles haven't won a game in 2 seasons, and they last made the playoffs in 2021. The Eagles have 10 starters returning from last season, with 5 on each side of the ball. Dave Campbell's Texas Football has them finishing last in District 12-5 AD2. That's all right by the Eagles because this is a new team and a new season.
It's going to be bright. We got a bright team this year. Everyone ready to play, coming back from an 0-10.
I think my expectations this year of this team is that we just bring in the energy this year. We get that pop in. Same, every time we go on defense, we hit that pop. But I just think we can at least score some more this year.
The expectation is, we're going to outwork everyone. And we know people don't respect us, and that's fine. And we're out to prove ourselves, and we're going to shock some people.
Breckenridge will open the season on the road at Kingsville King Thursday the 28th at 7 p.m. And tonight at 7, make sure to catch our sit-down with the UIW starting QB Richie Torres. Part 1 is tonight at 7 on KSAT Sports Now. And Part 2 will be tomorrow night at 7.
Interesting. This guy's been a while. I mean, he's been waiting for his turn for a while.
He has, and he is so eager to get out there, I'll tell you.
Bet he is. Thanks.
That's awesome. Thanks, Larry. All right, so what do the next 24 hours hold for that giant plan to build a new Spurs arena downtown? We are talking with one of the council members making that decision. Councilwoman Marina Alderete Gavito joins us on the Q&A and talks about how she wants to move this project ahead.
And we've got your picks for the best businesses in the Alamo City, how you can vote on your SA picks after the break. What will happen tomorrow? What should happen with Project Marvel and a new Spurs arena? Joining us now is City Councilwoman for District 7 Marina, Alderete Gavito. She's joined us before on the Q&A. It's good to have you back.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had the mayor on. She said, I want to hear from these council members about what the rush is.
So that's where we're going to start. Tomorrow, why the vote? You're in support of moving this project forward. Why is now the time to make that decision?
Yeah, you know, it's simple. We need voters to have all the information so that they can make an informed decision in November when they decide to keep the Spurs here or not. You know, we now have the Spurs term sheet, and so what that outlines is the Spurs contributions, the city's contributions, and the county's contributions. And let me tell you, I mean, what the Spurs are putting into this deal is amazing. I'll share some of it with you. They're going to invest $500 million towards building the new arena. The Spurs will cover 100% of the cost of overruns, so San Antonio taxpayers are not going to be on the hook for that. They're contributing $1.4 billion in guaranteed private development projects to create jobs and expand family entertainment options. They're contributing $75 million in the community benefits agreement, and that's going to be invested directly into San Antonio neighborhoods. The Spurs will pay an annual $4 million in rent, which will increase 2% every year of their 30-year lease. The Spurs are also agreeing to a 30-year non-relocation agreement. So, I mean, we're locking them in. The Spurs will cover all expenses to operate the arena. And so in total, the Spurs are contributing over $2 billion in investment to our community.
There have been people that have been talking about the fact that this is not the right time for something like this when you're talking about a budget crunch. Sure. But this isn't like you're diverting funds from one city project into another. I mean, what is the unique fashion of this?
So first off, I think it's important to understand that there's no cost impact to San Antonio homeowners or renters. Where San Antonio is getting the $489 million is largely in our project finance zone, and it's a tax in a 3-mile radius around the convention center. We're also going to get our funding for that $489 million from the Houston Street Tours and other components. But if you are a San Antonio homeowner or renter, you're not going to be impacted by this deal at all.
So, and I want to mention that we talked about this yesterday, some of those tax finance zones. A big part of that are dollars that if we don't keep them for a project like this, they're going to Austin. They're going back to the state.
That's exactly right.
It's not something that gets to stay in San Antonio's pocket.
You're totally right. It's use it or lose it. So to me, we want to keep those dollars here, investing in this arena, investing in our convention center, and not give that money back to the state of Texas. We need to keep it here.
Why not do another economic evaluation like the mayor's calling?
Yeah, we do already have an economic analysis. It is a good data point, but when I was making the decision, I looked at the impact to residents. It is zero to little impact on our city. Again, no cost increase or cost impact to our homeowners or our renters. And you look at the makeup of the deal, you look at what the Spurs are contributing, you look at what the city's contributing, and the county's contributing. They're clearly investing in our community.
So a lot of people will look at this, and I mean, you can get really in the weeds with the financing of it. But a lot of people also just looking at the Frostbank Center and saying, well, hey, we have this other arena, which was promised to bring in all this development. That did not happen. What's different about this time?
Well, I think one of the big things is that we are building the sports entertainment district, right? We are now looking at the holistic picture and truly designing a city right. So I think that's the key difference.
All right, I'm going to ask you to put on your prediction hat. What's going to happen tomorrow?
I think we are going to approve a term sheet. You know, I've been working very closely with my colleagues. We are comfortable with this deal. I will also say it's important to know that my colleagues, as well as I, have heard directly from our residents. Nobody wants to lose the Spurs. You know, we need to lock in this deal so we can keep our Spurs here.
Are you hearing from people, because that's one of the things the mayor's asking people to call your office and say, let's delay that.
Yeah.
Are you hearing from them as well?
Yeah, you know, I was actually talking to my colleagues in District 8 and 9, and we were saying it was great that she's asking residents to call us, because they're calling us and say, we need our Spurs here. We want you to sign in on this term sheet tomorrow. So it was great for us.
Yeah. Do you feel like if this vote doesn't happen tomorrow to move forward, that is a real risk at this point, in this timeline, that the Spurs would say, all right, well, it's being delayed. we're eventually going to leave?
Yeah, I think the Spurs have shown that they are a good partner. I think the Spurs have shown that they are invested in this community. I think we should work with them. I will also say I've been talking to colleagues, in Austin, and they are ready for San Antonio to fumble this deal so that they can take them, And so we can't lose our Spurs. The Spurs brand is intertwined with San Antonio's. They mean a lot to our culture. They are an amazing team, and I think that this deal and their contributions is something to be praised.
What is the, sorry, Steve,
go ahead.
what is the financial risk to San Antonio? You talked a lot about the benefit.
Right.
What's the financial risk?
Yeah, I feel that the city has structured the deal to where there's very little to no risk to the city. And what I mean by that is the Spurs have to invest in development, and it has to be done even before the city starts contributing some of that project finance zone money. So there are lots of milestones that the Spurs and the development that they do has to meet before we contribute a single dollar.
What do you think about how the mayor has been handling this whole thing?
I respect her view on it, but I think that, again, this is showing the relationship that the city and the county and the Spurs have, and together we need to move forward and get this deal done.
Do you think the council can move forward together?
I think so. On council, it's a team sport. You've got to get to 6, and we're feeling very comfortable tomorrow.
All right, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marina Alderete-Gavito, Councilwoman for District 7.
Yes.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you all for having me.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, nice seeing you.
All right, the picks are in. Now it's time to find which businesses will be the best in their field. How to vote for 2025's SA Picks next.
October is still a while away, but one place is giving you a chance to start shopping for spooky season. Spirit Halloween will have locations across San Antonio, with some opening as soon as today. Right now, 9 stores will be available to get your Halloween fix. Check their website because some aren't opening until next month. We've got the list of locations on KSAT.com. All right, your nominations for the SA Picks 2025 contest are in. We asked viewers to choose San Antonio's top businesses.
Yeah, that's everything from restaurants to dog groomers to HVAC companies and more. We received thousands of nominations across nearly 100 categories. To learn more about the finalists, scan the QR code on your screen. You're going to be able to vote on your favorites starting tomorrow, August 20th.
And calling all foodies, the second annual Texas Eats Food Festival is set for September 20th at the Boeing Techport Center. You can try food from 20 top restaurants across Texas, made by Michelin and James Beard award-winning chefs. If you want to buy tickets, scan the QR code there. A portion of the proceeds will benefit the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country.
So you can make your SA picks and then register to pick your food.
You can do it all.
All right there. All right, live outside, you see white fluffy clouds, but tomorrow, the good chance for rain. Adam.
Yeah, I still think tomorrow's our best chance. Thursday has been standing out for quite some time, and we've been kind of focused on Thursday for the best opportunity, and that still looks like the case, but not the same time frame. It could be as early as 9 a.m. with downpours. I do want to talk about this outflow boundary. It's kick-starting a few downpours, just flanking Seguin, but not quite overhead. And then some heavy rain about to cross over 181. Sutherland Springs to Floresville, this new downpour just popped up. Through sunset, we'll have some of this activity out there, but it's fairly isolated. We'll talk more about tomorrow and how much rain we could see in just a bit.
All right, I keep saying it. We got to be lucky to have rain and rain chances this time of the summer.
That's what I was thinking. You can tell it's August because we're excited about pop-up showers out there today.
We don't get this often in the summertime. Nonetheless, compared to the past 4 or 5 Augusts, we really don't get this. Typically, we're just counting, how many 100-degree days is it so far? Tomorrow's our best chance of rain. Scattered in nature, so again, keep in mind, not everybody's going to get it, but between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., that's our main window of opportunity. 1 to 3 inches, I think, is likely within most of the downpours. However, we could even see more than that, in some of the heaviest showers and storms. So some street flooding in some neighborhoods and even localized flash flooding possible in some of the low water crossings in our area. So something just to keep in mind when traveling around tomorrow. The rain could get in the way and even cause at least ponding of water on the roadway. And some streets will have that water rushing down them, for a brief period of time. Now, you look at authority radar and the outflow boundary that's moving through, starting to kick up brief showers from roughly Belmont, but especially just east of Seguin toward McQueeney, Santa Clara, and then this green line here. This is actually the outflow boundary that's moving into Bexar County at the moment, and that's headed southward. And as it does so, could kickstart a new shower or thunderstorm, or even just a few of them. That's what we're watching really through sunset, is that potential. Here's the futurecast for tomorrow. I do think after sunset tonight, through about sunrise tomorrow, fairly quiet. Then we start to see the activity pick up, because not only do we have the upper level support, but also a weak surface boundary is moving in, a little surface trough, and that should help kickstart some of the showers and storms earlier than what we're used to. So as early as 9 a.m., some of the downpours out there. This will be off and on into the mid-afternoon. Now, one thing I'll be watching for is the potential of a little organization of these storms, and then maybe a little rotation. When I say rotation, it's more of a broad spin. If we get that, that means we have stronger updrafts and then pockets of more than 3 inches of rain in a localized area. There's just that possibility, not a probability at the moment. Come sunset tomorrow evening, it all quiets down. Drought monitor, I outlined in white the worst areas of drought, but look at the rain in the past couple of days. A little bit in those areas, nothing significant, but better than nothing. Tomorrow, we'll see what neighborhoods really win out. There's some upper level support already headed our way, and again, it's going to be primarily late morning through midday tomorrow. Even Friday, 40% chance, and then Friday night on through the weekend looks quiet. Cat 2 Hurricane Aaron, this is east of South Carolina right now, passing between the Carolinas and Bermuda, staying out over the open water. 97 right now, 87 at 10 o'clock. By midnight, we're down to 84. Tomorrow, not as hot, 76 in the morning, 94 in the afternoon. And I do think many places will be cooler than that. For example, Bernie, 91. Helotes, about 90. Seguin, 94, the high temperature. This weekend, back to triple digits with that sunshine.
Enjoy the 94 and 95.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at what's on ABC's primetime tonight. After this show, it is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire at 7 o'clock. Then at 8, it's Match Game.
At 9, Shark Tank. Finally join us back here at 10 for the Night Beat. KSAT Sports Now comes your way at 7 o'clock, streaming right after this newscast. That camera. Right after this newscast, let's just overlook Andrew's head, and that's the camera I look at. All right, so we're talking about Richard Torres.
Yes.
This is a guy that went to Nebraska initially.
Yep.
Didn't work out there.
No.
Comes back and has waited his time at UIW.
He certainly has. So he's from Southside High School. Richard Torres, a lot of people just call him Richie. He hurt his knee his senior season at Southside, knocked him out his senior season, I think after 2 games.
Yeah.
Yes, he went to Nebraska, it didn't work out. Now he's at Incarnate Word, and he was recently named QB1, and he is so excited to go. Tonight, we have part 1 of our interview with him. I talked to him about 14 minutes on Monday, and I think tonight is about a 7-minute interview, and he just talks about the offense, and he also talks about the fact that Cam Ward went to Incarnate Word and then later on became the #1 draft pick in the NFL.
Right, so there's some big shoes to fill there as quarterback at Incarnate Word.
Absolutely.
You get a feel for him how that team's going to be this year?
I think that team is going to be very good, and that offense, as you know, is high octane. They can score some points.
Yeah, and Arch Manning, you got more with Arch?
We do. We have Arch Manning. So recently, his grandpa, Archie Manning, said that Arch would be with Texas until 2026. Arch says, not so fast. I'm keeping it like really close to the vest right now, but we don't know. And he said he really doesn't know. So he's clarifying what Grandpa had to say.
Yeah, and the Terry Crews School of Acting.
Yes,
also
something
part
with
of Sports
Sonic, drive-in, drive-through. It's pretty funny. He's all intense, getting into Marcel Reed's face, Texas A&M quarterback. It's good stuff. Right, Daniel?
Yes, sir. If Daniel says it's good,
then it's good.
I'm sure it's good. All right, KSAT Sports Now comes your way tonight at 7. We'll be right back.
Important news for parents on something we've been covering closely, the new school voucher law. The program starts next school year, but some parents are preparing now, and there are some key things you need to know. Patty Santos breaks down how you can be prepared as well. That's on GMSA, starting at 5 a.m.
Adam.
You know, I relearned what a rhombus was the other day. It's one of those things that, like, you heard in school as a kid.
That's like one of the few things I remember.
You never revisit again. I prefer the parallelogram.
Yeah.
It's fun to have kids in class, right? All right, this is a great shot of the downpour that we had near Stone Oak earlier today. Just very isolated, but a few rain shafts out there ending by sunset, especially thereafter. Tomorrow, more numerous showers and storms anytime from really late morning, say 9 a.m., all the way through the mid-afternoon. And Friday, another opportunity. And then Friday night through the weekend, really starting to look dry. Back to what you would expect in August with triple digits as well.
You know what? That would be a great heavy metal band name. Rhombus.
Rhombus really would.
Rhombus really would.
Rhombus.
Better than parallelogram.
Tonight, rhombus.
Parallelogram.
Introducing rhombus.